Yes, some of the people who I would say are probably the least proud of America would be those very people who are representing America at the Olympic Games on an international stage. So that's great that we're able to put them out there, really show our best for our country there. Yeah, it's really awesome. But in particular, the U.S. women's national team has come under fire, which, first of all, I think women's national team is pretty offensive. There might be like a man who identifies as a woman on there or something like that. So I don't.
Yeah, it feels very gender.
Yeah, I don't think we should be allowed to call it that.
Somebody's getting triggered.
Yeah, sure. but anyway, it's called the U.S. women's national team, and so they have come into the spotlight for their protests that they've been doing over the past. I mean, really since their run in the last World Cup, even before then, but really in the last year or so of all these BLM protests, they've really kind of ramped it up a little bit. And so they had their first game of the Olympics early in the morning hours of this morning because it's over in Tokyo, so the time change. And so before the game, there's a picture of the players kneeling. Yes, there it is. The United States players and the Swedish players who they're playing, they're kneeling. It wasn't during the national anthem as they have done before. There was speculation that they weren't allowed to kneel during the national anthem because the Olympics actually has rules to where if you're representing your country that maybe you should like respect the country that you're representing.
Yeah, if there's anybody who can identify with the black experience in America, it's a Swedish woman.
Yeah,
right.
I can think of no one who could possibly identify and know what it's like to be an oppressed minority in the United States more than a privileged Swedish female soccer player.
Right, exactly. And so all four people that were watching the game got to see that expression of solidarity. So that was great.
Racism is solved now. Didn't you hear?
Yeah, right.
It
now
no
that
longer
the kneeling
exists.
has happened, we're done. It's all mission accomplished. Nice work, ladies.
Well, that's great that they accomplished that mission. Unfortunately, the mission that they didn't accomplish was winning the game. They were actually pretty well demolished by Sweden. They lost 3-0. They were riding a 44-match unbeaten streak, and it came to a screeching halt here today. We have just a clip of kind of a summation of how the game went. Here we go. Yep, that was about it.
Wow.
So that's pretty much, I think, how the game went from what I've read about. I didn't watch it because I would rather sleep than watch that.
I'd rather poke my own eyes out with a spoon than watch that game.
From what I understand, they were pretty well dominated. They lost.
Dirty, infected spoon. Oh my gosh.
So fortunately, we didn't have to watch that. And so we put out an article this morning at the Western Journal about how the women's national team lost after they started the game by trying to stage a protest of kneeling, and then they went out and they laid an egg in the game and they played terrible. And it did really well on our website, and some other conservative websites put this same kind of story out and they had similar success. So it started trending on Twitter. And so the comments that I started seeing on Twitter as I'm reading about this is basically the Western Journal, other conservative news sites, we're bad people because we are celebrating the fact that our country's team lost, and so therefore that makes us un-American. What do you guys think about that?
I am completely apathetic as to the win or loss in this situation. So I'm not celebrating any. If Sweden had won, I mean, if the U.S. had won, rather, if Sweden had lost, I wouldn't be celebrating that either. I just couldn't care less. I don't much care about the Olympics. I really don't care about soccer in the Olympics, and regardless of whether it's a men's team or a women's team, I don't care. So I'm not celebrating anything. I think the point is that the article was making, and that we would make, the conservatives in general would make, or not even conservatives, just patriots.
Anyone who watches sports and also likes America.
Yeah, I think what we'd say is, why don't you focus on the game? Why don't you focus on winning the game? The wokeness isn't helping you any. It just kind of, the only credibility you have, the only stage you have, the only reason you have spotlight at all is because of your athleticism. And when you lose the game, you lose all of the rest of that. So why don't you just focus on winning the game? That's what you get paid to do. And I would imagine that women's professional Olympic soccer players aren't making bank. Okay, I get it.
Well,
but
that's a whole nother issue that they also have a problem with.
I'm
so I'm
sure
sure
no
you
one
can read about
watches.
I'm sure
that
they have
one.
a litany of problems that they would love to discuss with us. But just play the game. Just play the game. The same thing I would say to Matt Damon. You know, do the acting. You know, if you're a dancer, dance. If you're an actor, act. If you are a garbage collector, collect the garbage. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But beyond nobody cares, it's ineffective. It's a waste of time. So spend your time on something that makes a difference. But even if it's stuff I disagree with, if you're going to go fight social causes that I'm on the other side of, that's great. But why don't you do it in a way that's effective so that we aren't sitting here sort of kind of laughing at you, but not even being able to bring up a real laugh because it's just sort of pathetic. Do something that matters with your life. That would be my advice.